Hello, I'm Gustavo Razzetti. I'm the CEO and founder of Fearless Culture. In this video, I'm going to walk you through our culture design process, what we call the culture design journey. This is a methodology that we apply with different types of companies when we're helping them map, assess, and design their culture, regardless of a startup, fast growth organization, or Fortune 500 company. So the process has four key steps, or four key phases: discovery, culture mapping, culture assessment, and then culture design. I'm going to walk you through each of them. The discovery phase is like in any consulting gig. Basically, you have to understand what's the culture, what's the client reality, what are the expectations, align on outcomes, and how the process is going to look like. So basically, we host a series of stakeholders interviews to learn more about the culture. We also review every existing document from employee surveys, culture documents, etc., to get familiarized with the current culture. So then we jump into what we call culture mapping. The idea of culture mapping is to codify the current culture. Not the ideal, not the culture that the CEO sees, but how the actual employees in different groups, maybe different countries, different regions, experience the culture. And we do that with two tools. One is a quantitative tool that helps us understand the type of culture, like zooming out, what type of culture does the company have, and then we're zooming into each of the details to go into a more qualitative, deep mode to understand all the elements. The quantitative tool helps us understand, do you have a tribal, fearless, fearful, aggressive culture? I'm not going to walk you through the details. We have a lot of materials that I can send you to learn more about this model. But in the end, as you can see, there are companies like IKEA or Southwest that are more tribal, companies like Netflix, Amazon, that are Tesla, that are more definitely aggressive. What this quantitative tool, this is a survey that we share with all the employees. It's pretty kind of straightforward, multiple choice, 21 questions. It helps us determine what's the dominant or predominant type of culture, what's the secondary type of culture. We can also get the results across different departments, different geographies. It all depends, of course, different levels of the company. And this is the foundation to understand where we are, but most importantly, where do we want to take the culture. As I mentioned, we also use a qualitative tool. This is the Culture Design Canvas, a tool that we created like over 5 years ago. We've been using it with companies across the world. We also train thousands of people to use the tool with their teams, a company or clients, because also consultants use it. It has 10 blocks, basically 10 elements that encompasses the different elements of culture. At the core, it's what we call the foundation of culture, the pieces in which we want to drive alignment. So we're trying to understand what's the company purpose, values, behaviors, and priorities. Once again, when we map the culture with different groups, what we get is not the official culture, but how they experience it. Lastly, we have two other sections. So on the right side is the emotional side of culture, the glue, that thing that brings everyone together, that creates a sense of belonging, which includes feedback, psychological safety, and team rituals. And on the left side, we have the functional side of culture, what drives agility, that ability to move fast, to adapt, to bounce back from adversity. And in that section, we include 3 blocks: the norms and rules, the meetings. Meetings encompasses all sorts of collaboration, both asynchronous and synchronous, and lastly, decision-making methods. Once we've finished that, we jump into the third phase of the project, which is culture assessment. So we jump from understanding, and here we switch gears. We are more like a detective. In the second part, the mapping, that includes employees. This is something that we do with our team, and then we present the results to the executive team. Of course, there's a lot of information. It's not just where you are, what's your current culture, and where you want to take it. And we work with the team on a workshop on this discussion, but we go deeper into all the elements that basically drive the culture. Elements like feedback, psychological safety, decision-making, etc., that are the ones who drive the type of culture that you have. And in that same regard, if you want to shift your culture in a different direction, what do you need to work on? So it's not just drawing something beautiful on a map. It's about what decisions, what changes, what improvements you need to bring to the table to move the culture into that direction. When it comes to the culture mappings, we integrate the results of the different sessions that we run, and then we go with a framework that we have, and we analyze each of the blocks to see which ones are working well, which ones have some opportunities, and which ones are in trouble. This is something that clients, especially at the senior or team level, leadership level, appreciate a lot, which is we consolidate a lot of information into this simple recommended action graphic. For each of the building blocks, remember we talk about purpose, values, feedback, psychological safety, meetings, we determine which ones are great. Not only great in the sense we don't need changes, but we need to preserve them. So this is important. Don't take things for granted. If something is working, make sure not only that you don't change it, but also that you protect it. Clarify, the second level. This includes those building blocks that require some adjustment. Maybe it's language, maybe it's how it's communicated, maybe there's some confusion within people and we need to clarify it. The third level goes for those blocks that require improvement. There's a lot of opportunities and we need to, and we recommend what kind of action originally we're bringing to the table. And lastly, transform. That means blocks, let's say psychological safety, let's say decision making, that are really in bad shape and require a much bigger intervention of fix. Of course, after all this, we discuss it with the client until we come to some agreement, and then they prioritize the course of action. Lastly, we jump into the culture design phase. In this culture design phase, depending on the company that we're working with, we might maybe focus on the core. So basically all these 4 sections, or we might start in any other block. It all depends on the assessment. So this is not like a one size fits all. The process is very flexible. So if there are areas that are working, we're not going to redesign. We're going to focus the design effort into the key areas. Also prioritizing where can we bring some quick wins to the tables, and what are the structural things that need to happen. So based on this, then we design what would the culture design journey look like and how we're going to work with the team coming up to that. So once again, this is a summary of the 4-phase kind of a culture design journey. It's a very co-creative, collaborative, very fun process. We facilitate it. We have a lot of experience, but in the end, a lot of people in the company are the ones who bring the ideas and stuff to life. So looking forward to hear from you. If you have any questions and if you need help with your culture, we're here to support you during this culture design journey. Thank you.